Hello and welcome to NEI Part 1. The name NEI stands for Not Enough Items. It kind of can be seen as like a mix or an upgrade of too many items and recipe book which came before it in earlier versions of Minecraft. Now, what we need to do is, if we want to actually access it, we just open our inventory and it will actually appear there. If you go to the options menu, we're going to want to ensure in recipe mode, because that way, if we're in cheat mode, we can just get the items, and that's fairly standard. But we need to be in recipe mode for actually to show the major functionality of this mod. So we go into it, and you press E to open your inventory, obviously. If we want to escape out of it, we press escape, or we press the inventory key again to escape. And then once we've got this screen here, we're inside NEI. Now, if we have a block like, say the advanced machine block, we want to know exactly what we want to do with that, right? We want to press R, we get the recipe. And keep in mind I'm saying the default keys, of course the bindings are completely customizable. So if we press R, we get this, which is the recipe, and we can see, for instance, to make the advanced machine block, we need 2 advanced alloy, a couple of carbon plate, and a machine block. If we press U, however, what actually happens, we just hover over the block, press U, and we can see that it actually comes up with this menu, Shaped Crafting, and it shows you everything that we can use this advanced machine block. We've got a few items that we can make. So, for instance, it's mainly used for the project, for a lot of the MFFS stuff, right? And it can also be used to make the, all the MFFS stuff. And that actually shows you the usage of it, okay? Now, the next thing that I wanted to show was if we say we have a crafting table, and we actually open the crafting table, we right-click on it and we're now open, right? So when we go into NEI now, is if we wanted to actually get this advanced machine block, what we would do is we click on it, and then we see this little question mark here. We click on the question mark, and what it's actually going to do is it's actually going to place a faint sort of background image, so we can actually see what needs to be placed in there. So we can see if we've got the stuff in it, if we've got the stuff, we can just put it in their place. We don't need to flick back and forth towards this and and the recipe. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to draw your attention to is this item subsets button. When we click on it, we can see that we get various items here, right? So what we need to do is, say we wanted to hide all the MFFS blocks. You can see them there in the bottom half of the screen there. So we just go here and we actually right click on it, and you can see, and then we left click to reveal it again. So you can see that this is toggling the MFFS blocks on and off. If we double click on a set, there we go, we can only see the items supposedly from that set. There are some soul shards there, maybe they're somehow linked to that. But yeah, and we can see that actually, and it blanks out various other things. So if we want to show them all, we just left click and we can see, and there's the vanilla is hidden. Okay, so some of it's still hidden. And I think we're back to the start again. So this is a good way, and you can actually do custom sets, so you can actually only show certain items. So if there's loads of items that you wanted to hide, for instance, like I may show it in another video where we can hide all the red power ones. So that'll be interesting. Not all the machines, of course, but yeah. And if we double click on the set, it will show only the items from that set. So here we go. Yeah, I mean the Railcraft one works very nicely. So these are all the items from Railcraft. And this actually gives us a very, very quick way of seeing all the items, because one of the problems is that sometimes you have to, if you've got a large mod, they may have put the item IDs maybe in different spots. I think the soul shards and the and these backpacks here appear on everything though. But that, I mean, that's just something which is just happening at the mod at the time. It's probably something that change. But as you can see, we can see all the Railcraft stuff there, and I think because there's sort of interaction between the mods, some of the things, I mean, do actually get removed. So in general, the ones which are darkened out are the ones which don't have their blocks currently displayed. And then all we do is we just double click on the top there, and then that will access everything once more. Now, if we shift click on the set, and it should, let's see what happens when we shift click. Okay. Let's try shift clicking here. So there's only the charge pads. There's only the items from the factory module of Buildcraft. So you can see it's actually quite powerful, because we actually get to really, yeah, we can actually, you can really. So if we just look at the pipes, there's the pipes. So let's see what the difference. If we just, I mean, it seems that double clicking and shift clicking have the same effect actually. but there may be a difference with that. Because I've literally got this from the wikis. Double click on the set shows only the items in that set, and shift click on a set will make item pane show only items in that set. So it doesn't seem that there's a huge amount of difference between the two. So I think that shift clicking and double click, for all intents and purposes, are the same. Let's go to other. We can see other items there. It's steel stuff. Okay, so that's really, so this subset thing, and you can make your own subsets. So a good way, but you have to do it in the config file currently, I think. And you can see obviously that there's stuff going on at the bottom as well in the search bar, and yeah, I mean that's what we're going to talk about next. Yeah, one thing I've noticed actually is that I don't think, for instance, I'm right clicking now, but if I shift click, it will actually change it to what you actually want. So I think that is a slightly different thing. It's appearing behind now, so we might need to just go out of it and then come back in. So it doesn't seem to work that effectively, but I mean in forestry it's certainly got more items than that. But I think if we just double click that, I mean double click on the top here and that will reset it. And then if we shift click on say IC2, then it's working fine. But then if we shift click on Railcraft, oh, it's still working fine. Shift click on Red Power, 32 pages of Red Power. Shift click on Vanilla, it comes up with only the potions. Shift click on Mod, shift click on MFS, seems to work nicely. Shift click on Items, it comes up with almost everything. IC2, and then it's Forestry, and we can see all the forestry items. I haven't really had time to have a look through all these. Well, look at the bee remodeling. That's awesome. That looks it's so much clearer. And that's the thing. Using a good texture pack is actually is quite a bonus actually, because you know only so much you can do in a default texture pack. But yeah, so I mean that's really all that I wanted to say. Now the next thing is really the key point, because once again, I mean, and I will talk a little bit more about this subset. I'm going to talk about the loading and saving things, but that will again be in another episode, in the next episode probably, because there's a lot to do in NEI, and there's also the other mod, NEI plugins, which is got even more. So this search bar is interesting because it uses regular expressions, regex, kind of what's known as. It's something which a lot of the languages have. It's very good for searching, for search strings and stuff. So if we wanted to look for, say, everything with yeah, I mean the best one to do, and to be honest, again this is from the wiki, so but I can't actually remember. I'll think of a better one. If we do BLCK, we can see that this question mark is going to basically act as like imagine in sort of Scrabble as just a blank tile. That's exactly what it does, and so it will come up with everything which has got block or black or anything like that in it. So it acts as the default type. If we try with M. Let's try brick, maybe. Wonder if it's any other words that just so happen to fall into that. No, it's the same sort of thing. I'm trying to. What about, say? Okay, so this is the same sort of thing. It's hard to say. I mean, that first one really is you just have to imagine if there's a word where you can swap a vowel out, you can get. So that basically allows you to put a question mark at any stage of the word. Now, if we do this, which is traditionally it's kind of. But anyway, I'm not going to say what it is traditionally because it's obvious. If we do that with block, we're going to have words that begin with block. So we can see everything here begins with block. Yeah, so let's try anything that begins with brick. So everything here, you can see the very first letter of the very first word is brick in every single case, and that helps to do that. So I mean, it might not work with wire, but you see with wire you don't get the copper wire because the first word of that is copper. You just get wireless stuff that begins with wireless, right? We can do copper, and it's actually quite powerful. And so we can do the same. We can see, and it's just a good way to see, to think about the items in a different way. And it's something which I like the idea of this, because it's like you can think about, the way I do my videos. I make it, you think about the mods individually, but there's also, there's obviously, I mean, I've often thought, should I do a video with just loads of trees, or loads of, or loads of items, or loads of wires, or loads of engines. It's not the way I'm doing the videos, but it is an important way to actually think about the mods as you're doing it. So the next thing that I was going to talk about was this. So say we just do this. What we can see is that what we've actually got is we've got every block here, which has got this is sort of from Java regular expression. This is because it is fully supported. This has got every block here. You can see it's actually got the letter X in it. I'm kind of curious. When do we do X and then Y? You can see now we have every block that's got the matches X or Y. So anything here is going to have either X in it or Y. So any case where so there's no block we're going to find here which has not got an X or a Y in it. So yeah, that's an even more powerful way of searching. So if we did, so we can see what X is there. Now, if we wanted to exclude a letter, what we would do is we would do something like. So let's exclude a shitload of letters. Okay, it's not really enough. Okay, let's just do most of the alphabet then, I guess. So now we've got V, W, Y, X, Y, and Z. So there we go. So now we've only got ones which have got, we'll do a few more, V, W, which have only got X, Y, and Z left now. So anything here is going to have either an X. Have I missed out a letter? Because there's no X, Y, and Z in that. I don't know why that's happened. It does seem to be majorly following it. Yeah. It's got a Y. It may be that I've just put in too many letters here. Let's exclude. Let's try and think of this in a slightly different way. Let's put in some, popular letters. So yeah, I mean, it's very, to be honest with you, it's very hard to exclude a lot of the letters. I do want to try that one more time though. And there's no real reason you'd want to do this one. This should have only letters Z now. It doesn't. But that should work. On the plus side though, it says match any character except A. Yeah, I mean. So but if you do want to just match X and Z, then you can see that here we are matching purely X and Z. Quartz is the only block which has actually got a Z in it. Interesting fact, I suppose. Pretty sure. Yeah, so I can say that for certain. That Z, it's the only thing that, if we try it just with Z, you have to press space afterwards as well. Let's try some more obscure letters. Well, that's gonna. See, quartz doesn't. I mean, quartz should come up when you do that. So I'm not quite sure in the implementation of that. Something which is just beyond the scope of this anyway. So yeah, and the final thing is something a little more, little more simple, and that is just simply if you have an item. I wonder if you can. I'm not sure you can do it with this, but we'll see. Let me just see this. We have an item, and then we press X, and that gives you this enchant, and we can basically enchant it to whatever we want. So if you've got like a proper weapon, then you can do that way. But yeah, so you can just put it anything you want really. Say that, and there you have an ultra powerful enchanted stone, which will just which will just do whatever you like really. And so that is the end of it. There's a lot more to talk about in NEI. I want to go over more of the regular expressions. I want to talk about more of that stuff. I may well have not quite implemented that correctly. I need to talk about the ranges in searches and stuff. But yeah, so that is it. And so yeah.